Hello and welcome to another Mordian Glory video. So today I just want to do something slightly different. Rather than talking about tactics or strategy, I'm going to talk about what I want to see in the next Guard Codex. Because it's about time we got another one. It's been a long time. We've had one or two supplements which include us. I mean, we've had the Red War, which was obviously mostly about orcs, but we got a formation in there. And we've had the Montcast supplement, which obviously you can tell was really about Tau, but we got some, formations in there. But we haven't had a only Imperial Guard book in a while, in a long, long time. And I do think, I know Games Workshop was on a trend of releasing supplements at the moment, and codexes don't even seem to get released anymore. But I do think that the Imperial Guard really need a new codex, more than they need a new supplement, because there's a few things which our current codex is missing, which we used to have. You see, this video is going to be partially looking forward to what I want in the new codex, but partially looking back at what we used to have in the old codex. Now, honestly, I would probably say, in terms of points costs, I like the new codex, but in terms of options, special rules, diversity, I prefer the old codex by a country mile. Absolutely no doubt. In many ways, even though the points in the older codex aren't as, things are a little bit more expensive, I would probably rather use my old codex. As crazy as that sounds. Okay. You see, the problem with the new codex is that we lost a lot of stuff. The whole point, in my opinion, of a new release for a new army is to make it exciting and to breathe some fresh new life into the codex, and to add things to the existing army. And the problem with the old Guard Codex, with the new Guard Codex I should say, and I'm using new in relative terms because I think it's about 2 or 3 years old now. But the problem with the current codex that we have is we lost so much stuff. Like, we got a lot of things reduced in points cost, but we lost so many units. So, I mean, I've got my old codex in front of me here. I own every different Guard Codex. I mean, just going through the different sections. Okay. I mean, we still have the, I'm not going to go through every different section. I'm just going to go through the ones that I find, personally, that I find frustrating that we lost. Okay, so in the HQ section is largely the same. We still have command squads, commissars, Commissar Yarrick, tech priests, regular priests. Okay, elites. Elites, we gained Bulgrins, but they're not very good. They're too expensive. The elite section in the current Guard Codex is weak, to say the least. I mean, considering that we basically lost stormtroopers as well, considering if you're ever going to take stormtroopers, you might as well take them in an allied CAD and take them in their own section so they get obsec. So we gained Bulgrins, but who cares? Rattlings stayed the same. They got a little boost because they got shoot sharp and scarper, which is okay, shooting and running, but it's not amazing. But I'm not going to turn it down. We lost Guardsman Marbo. Now, for those of you who don't know who Guardsman Marbo was, it was a single infantry model that you paid 65 points for. Okay, and he came with so many awesome rules, right? So he was weapon skill 5, ballistic skill 5, strength 3, toughness 3, wounds 2, initiative 5. Initiative 5 on a guardsman, attacks 4, but basically 5 because he came with a pistol and close combat weapon. Leadership 7, save 5+. His war gear was a Ripper pistol, which was basically a poison pistol, an envenom blade, which is obviously poison, frag, melter bombs, and a demolition charge. His special rules was he was fearless, he had stealth, so +1 to his cover save, move through cover, which back in those days meant you could just literally move through cover in 5th and 6th edition. Hit and run, which is great because he's only a 2 model. If he gets tied up in combat, you want him to run away. Fleet, which is good, very makes him mobile. Loner, and he's behind you. And he's behind you meant that you could infiltrate this guy 1 inch or 2 inches away from any enemy model. You didn't have to stay out of line of sight. You didn't have to, stay 12 to 18 inches away. You could just infiltrate right behind them. And this guy was known for being a suicide bomber because he would pop out from behind an enemy, tank or important squad and just throw a demolition charge at them because he would pop out 2 inches away. And so it was really good because some people swore by him, saying he was a must-have, and some people said he was, never take because he was often blow himself up. But he was interesting. He was cool, So that's the first special character we lost. You're going to notice we lost a lot of special characters. Get onto the troop section. Now, overall, the troop section is roughly the same. You get your command squad, your infantry squads, your heavy weapons, your special weapons, your conscripts. But they took away the 2 things that made infantry platoons tournament competitive. They took away the 2 things that made me run pure infantry for the whole of this new codex, or old codex, I should say. They took out the 2 special characters. One was Commander Chenkov, and one was Captain Alohem. Now, they were both upgrades for the platoon command squad. They replaced the platoon commander. And you could have both. You could have one Commander Chenkov and you could have one Captain Alohem. They weren't exclusive of each other. Chenkov was 50 points. He was weapon skill 4, ballistic skill 4, strength 3, toughness 3. 2 wounds. It's always good to have 2 wounds on your platoon commander. Initiative 3, attacks 2, leadership 9. Good to have that +1 leadership. Save 4+. Great. It was 50 points. Okay, bear this in mind. And he came with car-based armor, hence his 4-up save. A power weapon. Cool. 3 power weapons, sort of. Frag grenades and a bolt pistol. And his special rules were Taskmaster, forward you dogs, and send in the next wave. Now, Taskmaster was... he can issue up to 2 orders a turn. Great. He has a 12-inch order radius. Great, because they usually have a 6-inch order radius platoon command squads. And he could also use senior officer orders, which are get back in the fight and move. So he couldn't use first rank fire, second rank fire, which is interesting. And forward you dogs were all friendly units within 12 inches of Commander Chenkov had the stubborn special rule, which is great. It actually meant you didn't have to buy as many commissars because commissars basically make you stubborn. So now you'd have everyone stubborn anyway, less likely to run away in combat. But the most important rule, and the one which I abused the ever-living shit out of, was send in the next wave. Okay? And this is the number 1 reason why I am pissed, about, the new inverted commas codex. If I'd had a YouTube account when this codex came out, that I would have made this video straight away. But unfortunately, it's a bit retrospective. Okay? Send in the next wave. An army that includes Commander Chenkov may purchase this special rule for its unit of conscripts as described in the army list. It was 75 points. A unit with the special rule at the start of the player's turn can be removed from play as casualties if a controlling player wishes, counting as destroyed. So, interesting, you can blow up your own conscripts. Okay, why would you do that? Any unit with this special rule that is removed from play, so either killed entirely by the enemy or you kill it yourself, may be brought back into play at the beginning of the controlling player's next turn. The new unit moves onto the board from the player's board edge. The unit arrives with as many models and exactly the same armaments as its full-strength predecessor. It is treated as a new identical unit that has just arrived from reserve. That's right, never-ending conscripts. You know how many I used to run? 80. I used to run 2 blobs of 40. Never-ending conscripts. I played a tournament once where I won every single game. It's just a local tournament, but there were still some competitive armies there. There was Screamer Star, for example, back when that was the first Death Star. Farsight Bomb, stuff like that. I beat Screamer Star, I beat Farsight Bomb using sending the next wave conscript. because I used to put them out front, because my enemies, I used to give them my list, and they never used to ask what is sending the next wave. So I used to give them my list. I'd string my conscripts out front. My opponent would inevitably shoot them. They would run off the board, because I'd make sure they ran off the board. I'd conga line back. And my opponent would think, great, I've just removed 80 models in one turn. And then bam, next turn, they come back on. My opponent just wasted his entire first turn shooting. Big deal. Very big deal. If you can make your opponents waste their entire first turn, whew, big fucking deal. That just means it invalidated all Alpha Strike armies. Drop pods, who gives a shit? Fast bomb, who gives a shit? Screamer Star, oh, just would chew through 40 constants a turn every turn. Doesn't matter, coming back. You know, it was insane. So that's the number one reason why I wish... You know, you had to pay 75 points for it, and conscripts were 4 points a model back then. So how would I want this bringing back in the new... It's what I'm trying to say. It's not just talk, like I say, it's a bit about the old codex, a bit about the new codex. How do I want this being brought back? I just want it bringing back. I think in the new codex, conscripts should say 3 points a model, okay? And you should have the option to upgrade them to have send the next wave. I don't think you necessarily need Commander Chenkov for that. I mean, he's cool, but I think there should be a special rule for conscripts called send in the next wave. Pay 50 points, or pay 1 point per man. There you go. Pay 1 point per conscript to give them send in the next wave. Either that, or you make conscripts 4 points model base, and they come with it for free. That's how I would do it. Okay. So, and the reason why I'm saying this is Guard, you know, back in the day, the reason I believe this was removed was because no one else really got free units. Tyranids could spawn Termagants, but if you've noticed, Tervagons, their spawn got nerfed. And Guard lost their ability to send in the next wave. But now, in 7th edition, people are able to get free shit all the time. Skatari, Warcon, all free war gear. Gladius, all free transports. Chaos Space Marines, all free veterans of the Long War. You know, getting free shit is now totally viable and legit. So, bring back the free conscripts, that's what I say. The second thing that we lost for platoons, which needs to be brought back, is Captain Aurahem. Now, I'm not going to, you know, he was another platoon commander. He was 70 points. He came with weapon skill, blitz skill 4, strength 3 +3, wounds 2, initiative 3, attacks 2, leadership 9, only a 5 plus save. He came with a plasma pistol and a mastercrafted power sword, which is great. And he got 2 special rules, okay? One was stalk the enemy. Aurahem and his men will track the enemy for days at a time before attacking. Any unit that is part of Aurahem's infantry platoon must outflank. These 2 commanders, Chenkov and Aurahem, used to be my army. I shit you not. I used to run an army that was only 2 troop choices and 2 HQs. 2 company command squads, tricked out, and 2 platoons. Maxed out as much as I could. That's all I used to run. And I used to have the whole of Captain Aurahem's 50 men and like 40 conscripts outflanking. And him. And they used to have another sort of 100-man platoon, 50 men, conscripts, 40 conscripts. I used to have heavy weapon teams as well. I used to run about 250 men, and half of them would come back. 80 to 100 of them would come back. It was amazing. And the other half, so half would get deployed on the field, and the other half would go and outflank. And I'd have, imagine that, outflanking 100 dudes. 100 dudes. You combine that with the old Astropath rule, which lets you re-roll the side, re-roll reserves, so you're almost guaranteed to get in on turn 2, and re-roll, the side that you outflank. Really good. I won 5 games in a row at a local tournament. Or was it 6? It was 5. I won 5 games in a row using the same strategy. 1 platoon with Chenkov takes the beating in turn 1 that the conscripts come back on. The other platoon outflanks and sweeps. It's like opening a whole new front. I used to call it opening a new front. That was my tactics. And now we can't do this anymore. Yeah, you get a warlord trait in the current codex that lets you maybe outflank D3 units, but I don't want to maybe outflank D3 units. I want to outflank a whole goddamn platoon. I played against a Chaos Demons army, tournament competitive, when Chaos Space Demons got re-released, and beat them. Handily beat them, because I outflanked a whole platoon, swept. It was guaranteed line breaker. All your guys back in 6th edition, 5th and 6th edition, you needed troops to score things, so I would be scoring my opponent's objectives. Oh, it was glorious. It was absolutely amazing. I played against when Chaos Space was first got re-released, and when Nurgle Marines and Plague Marines and Nurgle Bikers were the shit. I played against a Nurgle army and beat it. Even though my Lasguns were winning on 6s, I lost 400 men that game because of sending the next wave, but they kept coming back. And every wave, I would just bring in 80 more guardsmen and just Lasgun down everything that I could. And he would charge, and it would just go on and on and on. Okay, and he was, and it took speed. It was a 6-turn game, and I almost tabled him just through endless waves. And that's what we had. And as you know, this channel is mostly geared towards pure infantry. That's what we need back in the new codex. I want Captain Aurahem to return. I want Commander Chenkov to return. They were making models for them. That's the thing. A lot of people say, oh, they got removed because they didn't have any models for them. No, they did. They had models for them. I have no idea why they were removed. I understand maybe why Commander Chenkov was removed, because they were trying to get rid of handing out free units. But now that's back, he should come back. I have no idea why they got rid of Captain Aurahem. No idea. There's no point in taking something out. It wasn't exactly, his rules took up 1 page worth of printing paper. One side of 1 page. I mean, it's not like he was a big drain on resources. No idea why they got rid of him. And that's just the start of what we lost in the Guard Codex. I mean, I'm not going to go through all the old stuff that we lost. I'm not even going to go in detail. I'll just name it. Okay. So we lost Marbo. We lost Captain Aurahem. We lost Commander Chenkov. We lost Sergeant Bastone. We lost Penal Legion squads. We lost Mogul Khmer, the Rough Rider sergeant, who actually made them semi-competitive. Our Vendetta gunships went up by 40 points, yet lost half their transport capacity. Our Valkyries went up by 25 points. We kept the tanks, but we lost. The Hydras went terrible. The Hydras lost auto-targeting systems. They were unable to shoot ground targets anymore. We lost the Medusa, the Colossus, the Griffin. Some may argue we got the Griffin back, thanks to the Wyvern. The Manticore went up in points. The new codex we have is terrible in comparison to the old one. Absolutely terrible. Gunnery Sergeant Harker, we may still have him now, but he was so much better back then. So much better. He came with so many special rules. He now is a glorified heavy bolter. He's pointless now. It's just... The Chimera got nerfed. We only had 1 dedicated transport, the Chimera, and it was amazing. It had 5 fire... It was everything that you saw in the current codex, but it was 10 points cheaper and had 5 fire points. I mean, why did you make it more expensive? Vehicles... why did... It's stupid. It's absolutely stupid. So going forward, what do we need returning to the Guard Codex? Okay, we've talked about what we've lost. We've talked about how what we lost may have seemed trivial, losing some special characters, but it actually massively impacted on a whole aspect of the Imperial Guard, which was the Foot Guard. Completely changed it, made it almost uncompetitive. It's a struggle to use Foot Guard at tournaments now. Let me tell you, it's a struggle. It's the only way we can win, but we're so bloated and unwieldy now. It's stupid. We don't have enough guys either. So what do we need bringing back? Well, we need our special characters bringing back. As I've said, we need Captain Aurahem back. We need Commander Chenkov back. I'm not too bothered about Sergeant Bastone or Mogul Khmer. They're cool. Bring them back, because why did you get rid of them in the first place is my question. But bring them back. You know, bring back the Colossus, the Medusa. Those things were really good. Both of those. The Colossus was an amazing. Which one was it? The Medusa was the one that was the Bastion, had the Bastion breacher shells, which basically made it a railgun. The Guard basically got a railgun. Bring that back. It's meant to be able to smash down walls. Let's see it smash down Imperial Knights. How cool would it be if you had a siege, an artillery piece that was strength 10, AP 1. They still get the Iron Shield save, but does D3 hull points automatically. Suddenly, all the issues that, or D3 hull points or D3 wounds. Suddenly, we've got something that allows us to actually effectively deal with Imperial Knights without having to Melter suicide them. Everyone loves Jink saves these days, don't they? Jink, Jink, Jink. You know what we lost? The Colossus. Strength 6, AP 3, ignores cover. That would allow us to take on these jinking White Scar bikers. These jinking Eldar bikes. I mean, how awesome is that? I mean, this old codex that I hold in my hands right now has all the tools necessary to function in 7th edition. It has everything you need. You could apply the formations that we currently have to this codex here, and you'd be better off. Because imagine if you could take something similar to the Emperor's Shield Infantry Company and then add in Commander Chenkov. Suddenly you've got, not only have you got 150 guys that are, make it part of a Valhallan battle group. Why did they only give us Cadian formations? There's so many other regiments out there. Give us other, acknowledge Games Workshop there are other regiments out there. Bring us, bring back the ability to send in the next wave. Bring back the ability to outflank full platoons. We had all the tools we needed in this old codex. Bring them back for the new codex and give us more stuff. We're not competitive as it is. Imperial Guard, because we don't have access to monstrous creatures, you never need to worry about us becoming competitive. Think about it that way. We're never going to be super competitive because we don't have access to the cheese that is monstrous creatures. Just let us do our jobs, Games Workshop. That's what this video is semi-directed at Games Workshop. Let us do our job. At the moment it feels like our hands are tied. So there's other things that could be added, not just by looking at the old codex, but by looking at the other options we have out there. And I think there's one thing that Guard really need, and it will just allow, oh my god, it would be so good. It would allow us to actually compete on a tournament level. We need to take a note from the Forge World books. You see, in Forge World there is a Forge World army you can take. It's called the Armoured Battle Group. It's, pure tank army for Imperial Guard. You can just take tanks. You can count it was before formations were a big thing. Okay, and I think it's still legit, but now you might as well take a formation. And there was something out there that made it really good. Okay, and it made the Vanquisher very competitive. You were able to pay, I think it's 10-15 points to give your Vanquisher Beast Hunter shells. Okay? Beast Hunter shells meant you fired I'm pretty certain you fired a small blast instead of a shot, and it meant you caused instant death. Hello, Tower Riptide spam. Can you imagine if you've had access to that? Just imagine this now. Imagine the new codex comes out and we get access to Beast Hunter shells. Okay? You take, let's say the Vanquisher with Beast Hunter shells comes to about 160 points. 180 points if you want to slap on the multi-melters on the side. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Okay? What you do is you then take 5 Vanquishers and you put them in the Emperor's Fist Armoured Company for Ballistic Skill 4 Vanquishers. You come across Tower Riptide spam. You know, Riptides are monstrous creatures. Suddenly, you fire a single Vanquisher shell into that Riptide. And it dies. It's AP 1. Maybe he has to be 25% obscured by cover now. Maybe he's not. Maybe he's income. Maybe he isn't. But there's a good chance that that Riptide is only going to have a 5-up save followed by a 5-up save, and you'll kill it. No longer is it good. I think I read somewhere it takes 40 ballistic skill 3 las cannon shots to kill a Riptide if it's got all its gizmos up and running. You know, I mean, how crazy is that? That's how tough they are. Imagine if instead you just went, oh, you failed your 5-up save, instant death. Oh, guess what? You don't get feel no pain against instant death, do you? Dead. And you see, it would be kind of balanced because it's not like it's just going to one-shot Wraith Knights. Wraith Knights only take D3 wounds from instant death. So Wraith Knight is still going to come charging down you and beat your face in. But at least against the Riptides, you're okay. And at least, if you're lucky, you fire 2 Vanquishers at it. In theory, it should only take you 4 Vanquishers to kill a Wraith Knight in one turn. You know, you'll hit with 3 of the shots and you'll get, on average, 2 wounds per one. 2 wounds on your instant death. Dead Wraith Knight. You'll get a save against that. Maybe it'll take your whole formation to one-shot a Wraith Knight in one go. But at least you can do it now. You know, at least you can do it. So that's what you need. Because at the moment there's a lot of stuff in the Guard Codex which is kind of okay, but if you look, we're lacking a lot of special rules of our own. Every other codex out there has their own unique special snowflake special rules, and we don't. We use all universal special rules, and it puts us at a disadvantage because it means we're hands are tied. Okay, and also the one thing they need to bring back is they need to make the Ordnance Russes, the Ordnance Legion Russes, just as good as the non-Ordnance ones. Bring back the old style Lumbering Behemoth rule. The old Lumbering Behemoth rule meant that you move 6 inches plus D6 a turn, and you could fire all your weapons at full ballistic skill no matter what. Bring that back. Because the problem that Guard have at the moment is we don't have the weapon. You know, just to sum up what we need in the new codex, we don't have the weapons we need to fight the current meta. Bring back the Medusa so we can hunt knights. Bring back the Colossus so we can deal with Jinx saves. So we don't have those kind of tools. Give us Beast Hunter shells. You know, so bring back what we've got. Add us some news to Finn. Bring Beast Hunter shells back. Bring them into the new codex, I should say. So we need the tools to deal with the cut meta. Give us more mobility. At the moment, we're so slow. The key thing about being outflank a whole platoon is it saved you so many turns charging up field just to get blown back. Bring back outflanking the full platoon. It gives us mobility. Okay? Foot Guard need it to be mobile. Okay? Bring back send in the next wave. Everyone else is getting free shit. It makes sense for the Imperial Guard to have endless waves of conscripts. Every other codex, all the new top codex out there, their fluff is represented by their rules. Guard isn't. Bring us, you know, the Imperial Guard are described as having endless waves of guys to throw against a force. Bring that back. Let us send in endless waves of guys. Let us do this. What else? So we can outflank for mobility. We can bring back guys. We can kill monsters, creatures, hopefully. We can deal with Jinx saves. We can deal with knights. That's what we need to be able to deal with. You know, and a few other things. Make the Taurox 40 points. Give us the upgrade to make things fast. Make our Legion Russes more mobile. These are the things we need. And these are the things, a lot of which we already had and have been taken away from us. So, comment. I'm sure there's some stuff I've missed. Comment if there's anything you'd like to see in a future Guard Codex. And thank you for watching.